For those of you that have, you see we already have something set up here. This was set up in the previous podcast, so if this is pretty much just one picture, we copied it 6 times, put it in different spots, and labeled the layers. If you have trouble doing something like that, you might want to go back to the previous podcast, and I'll show you step by step how to set it up. But for those of you that are a little bit more comfortable, it's all set up, we're ready to go. This is a background that's 800 by 600, and I've got 6 individual layers here, and they all are independent of each other. And I'm going to show you what to do. They each have a nice label. This first one here is labeled Liquify. Well, what I want to show you is how we use our filtering tools to make our images look a little bit different. If we click on the first layer, which is Liquify, it's this one here. I know it's selected because it's highlighted, and it's also got that little brush there. We go to Filter, and if you notice, there's a command here called Liquify. I'm going to click on that, and what it's going to actually do is it opens up a totally different menu. Here we are. This is our document and our image, and we can see here we have a few things to do. It gives me a nice big paintbrush, and what I'm going to do with this is I simply click and I drag. And look what it does. It actually kind of smudges the image. It's almost as if it was wet paint and we put our finger through it. So you can have a little bit of fun. You can even swirl it up a little bit. And really have fun with that. So looks nothing like what it does what we started with. I'm going to click OK over there, and that's what we got. So that's Liquify. That's that first layer there. Okay, the next layer is Neon Glow. That's this layer. Let me show you what Neon Glow does. We go to Filter, and if you notice, we have a few other different things. We're going to start with the Artistic filter, and right here, if you look down a little bit, we have Neon Glow. You might want to experiment with some of these other ones to see what they do, but I'm going to stick in this podcast with just the basics, and I'll let you expand on your own. Because remember, the real learning of Photoshop happens when you have the photos and you manipulate them on your own. Watching is going to give you the basics and give you the idea of how the menus work and how the basic tools work. But the real learning will happen when you try it on your own. So we click on Neon Glow for this layer. It's going to open up a separate menu. Now I'm going to drag this on screen so you can see it a little bit better. Now here is the layer that we're working with. Now if you notice it's all red. Let's see what we can do. We have a couple options here, and you can see it changes some things up a little bit. We can select a different glow color if we wanted to. Maybe we want to make it glow a little bit more like reddish orange there. And that's kind of neat. We'll see what we can do with that. And you can see as we change the slider, the preview will be right there, and it'll show us what's going on. Ooh, that's spooky. Wow. I'm going to click OK, but I'm not going to be able to sleep tonight. That's a little scary. And it's our Neon Glow. That's that layer. Our next one, I'll slide this over so you get a better idea, is our photocopy tool. So make sure we're on the right layer. We know it's highlighted. It's got the brush there. Go to Filter, and let's see what else. We had Artistic. We had Blur, Brush Strokes, Distort, Noise, Pixelate, Render, Sharpen, Sketch. Now under the Sketch menu, we're going to see that we have a few nice things here. We're going to use Photocopy for this particular layer. As you can guess, it's going to make it look like it's photocopied. Now you'll see that here are our different tools, and they give you some nice little previews here of the different ways. For example, that's what charcoal would look like. That's what chrome would look like. Chrome's kind of a cool looking like Terminator effect. Stamp. So you have a few different things. We're on here on photocopy, and look what happens here. So let's see what we do. Oh, look at that. It's interesting. So just making some minor changes. I want to see what it looks like, and that looks really good. Click OK. You do what works best for yours. You might be looking at what I'm doing and say, you know something, I would never do that in a million years. But that's okay. That's why I'm doing it on mine. You take your turn on yours. All right, let's go down to the bottom corner here. This one is Smart Blur. I guess that would be opposed to Not So Smart Blur. But let's see if we're selected. Brushes here. We're on the right layer. So we go Filter, and let's see what we have here. A blur. Let's see if we can find it. We're going to go. Oh, there's a whole blur menu, and we're going to come down here to Smart Blur. Click on that, And now you can see here, there's our little icon. There's our current thumbnail as it is. Let's see what happens when we smart blur it. So I'm going to increase the radius maybe, and maybe increase the threshold a little bit. And you can see as I change it, look what's happening. What it's actually doing, it's rounding out those pixels a little bit. And by doing so, we're getting almost a monochromatic type of thing here. So look at that. That's neat. Oh, I like that. That almost looks like abstract art. And I click OK, and you can see it actually looks pretty. All right, let's bring it over here. Now you can already see we've done right now 4 pictures, and we've got 4 totally different things that have modified this original image. Let's go up to wave. There's our wave. So we've got the right layer selected. We're going to go to filter, and let's see where we can find wave. So I'm going to go down one at a time. Oh, there it is in distort, and there is wave. We're going to have a little bit of fun with wave. So I click on wave, and it's going to open up once again another menu. And I'm going to try to position this here so you can see everything that's going on. So there's the layer we're working on. Here's the wave. Number of generators, sine wave, a triangle or a square. As a math teacher, I like the sine wave. So we're going to see if we can increase the number of generations a little bit. And let's increase the wavelength a little bit. And as you can see, amplitude, there we go. And check it out. If I click OK here, watch what happens. Now you can't, the preview here is not going to give us too much. But you'll see it actually is going to split this thing up into a million pieces. That's not really going to be too appropriate for this. So we're going to step backwards and we're going to try this again. So go filter, we're going to go to distort, and we're going to go to wave. Let's see if we can try something a little different. Maybe go a little less crazy with this. So the number of generators, let's just stick down with a 1. So you can see here, it looks a little bit nicer. And the wavelength will shorten up a little bit. Alright, let's see if we can have a little bit more fun with this and see if we can keep it on the image this time. Oh, that's a little too much. There we go. And let's increase a little bit. There we go. There you go. And we'll click OK. And you can see we've really waved it out. It looks like a nice little, this is actually a sine wave, and there's a few of them that we see. So another modification to our image. So that's the wave. Last one is emboss. You've seen this before if you've done the right click and you've gone to blending options. It's one way to do it. We're going to do it using our filtering menu. So we're on this particular layer. I can verify it by clicking here. We'll go to filter, and that's going to be under texture or stylize and emboss. And here we go. Let me just slide this over so we get a good view. You can also see that even though we haven't clicked OK yet, it's already done it. And let's see if we can find it. It should be in the bottom right corner here. There it is. So if I click on it, you see the original. I let go, you see this. We can change the amount. We can change the height of it. Really make it a 3-dimensional effect almost. And if I increase the amount, oh, that looks really neat. I can even change the angle here. It's actually too much. Oh, that looks real neat. Let's click OK. So now you've seen what we can do with our foreground images. So we've done all different layers and different filters based upon this. I'm going to get rid of these because I want to show you something that we can do with the background because we've neglected the background. By clicking the eyeballs, I'm just hiding those particular background layers. I'm going to change this to a nice color, maybe like kind of a bluish purple, and we'll click OK there. The reason for that is what that's going to do now is it means our foreground is the bluish purple, the background is white. Let me make sure I'm selected on my background layer so that it's highlighted and there's a brush here. We're going to go to filter and we're going to have a little bit of fun here. If I go to, let's see, no, I'm going to look for just the right tool. No, no, there we go, render. This is a really cool menu. Under render, I'm going to do clouds. Now, the reason I made sure I looked at my foreground and background because they will help me out a lot with the rendering. You'll see why in a second. So watch what happens when I click clouds. Look how beautiful this came out. It actually did a nice pattern of clouds based upon my foreground color and my background color. I think it came out real neat. But there's more we can do to this. We can also go to filter while still in the same layer. Go to the same render menu. And let's look at lens flare. Lens flare refers to something that happens to photographers when they're taking a picture and the sun catches the lens at the wrong angle and you get little spots on the lens. Well, Photoshop can actually emulate that. It's kind of neat. So I click on that and it gives me some options here. It lets me where I can put it, the amount of lens flare. So it's kind of neat. Different types of lens flare. This one's my favorite, so we'll stick with that one. But you can use whatever one works for you. Now I want to, oh, that's really cool if I do it that way. Let's click OK. And you can see now, this came back up already, we have this is the lens flare from the spot, and we have all these other circles. If I bring back in all the other layers, we have ourselves a nice little artistic document. And I kind of like it, and it looks pretty neat. And I hope you enjoyed it, because I enjoyed helping you make it. Feel free, when you do this, pick an image that you like, make 6 of them, and have some fun with these filters. You can see it's going to do a lot of things. And the only way you're going to actually figure out all of them is to actually just try it out. A book will teach you what they mean, but only by you using it will teach you what you need to do to use it in the real world. And as always, make sure you save your work when you're finished. Thank you so much for tuning into this podcast. I hope you enjoyed watching it as I enjoyed making it for you. And we will see you soon. Once again, paulpellick.com.